In May of this year, police arrest a man they say is responsible for hacking into the De Pere School District's computer system.
In 1986, if you found a vulnerability in computer system, you could have gone to jail for 20 freaking years. But fast forward to 2025, if you found a vulnerability in computer system, you get a freaking $1 million.
I never thought, hey man, like you are hacking and making a living from it.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know this drastic change in cybersecurity industry, you should watch till the end. Today's case study is extraordinary because it shows how an entire profession transformed from being labeled as a criminals to becoming some of the highest paid professionals in the world. We are talking about hackers, but this isn't just about technology. This is a masterclass in how innovation, legal frameworks, and business models can completely reshape an industry. By the end of this video, you will understand 3 critical lessons. 1. How legal persuasion nearly killed innovation in cybersecurity. 2. How one company bold decision changed everything. And 3. Why bug bounty programs are now a $1 billion industry. To understand this transformation, we need to go back to 1986. When the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act was proposed in United States. This law was America's response to growing computer crimes.
It's the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. Now it's out there. What does it do? The act protects computers, certain types of computers. And if you read the statute, almost every server is protected by the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act.
But this had a massive problem. It didn't distinguish between malicious hacker and security researchers. If you found a vulnerability in computer system, even by accident, you could be charged with federal crime.
Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. It really needs to be reformed. It's so vague that there needs to be common sense.
In 1998, Robert Morris Jr., a Cornell graduate student, created what's now known as Morris worm. His intention wasn't malicious. He wanted to gauge the size of internet. But the worm spread faster than expected and crashed thousands of computers.
There was weird log messages showing up in their sendmail log. The computers slowed down.
On Wednesday, November 2nd, 1988, internet-connected computers began to fail across the country.
Once it launched, it kind of goes on and on. The university, the military, defense, they were all suddenly saying, wait a minute, I can't check my email because my computer can't do anything else.
There was alarm because we didn't know what was going on. There was some concern that this might be some kind of a military attack on the United States.
And it just got to the point where administrators were like, we have to shut down these computers.
He became the first person convicted under the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. He faced up to 5 years of prison and a freaking $2,500 in fine.
Aaron's Law needs to happen. And what it does is also differentiate between common online activities and actual harmful attacks. And I think that's a very important differentiation to make.
Without any further delay, I want to introduce Kevin Polson.
For those who don't know anything about me, my name's Kevin Polson. I myself was a hacker in the late 80s and the early 90s. I used to hack the phone company quite a bit.
In 1994, a 16-year-old named Kevin Polson hacked into phone system just to win radio contest. When caught, he spent 5 years in solitary confinement and faced decades in prison. And then there is Kevin Mitnick, perhaps the most famous case.
Kevin Mitnick spent 5 years in prison for crimes related to hacking into the networks of major telecom companies.
The government claimed he could have launched nuclear missiles by just whitelisting into a phone, a claim that was proven later completely false. But here is what's fascinating in a business perspective. While these hackers were being imprisoned, companies were struggling with security problems they were trying to expose. In 1990s, the average cost of a security breach was already reaching hundreds of thousands of dollars. Companies like IBM, Microsoft, and Sun Microsystems were spending millions on internal security testing, but they were still missing critical vulnerabilities that external hackers could have easily find. This created a bizarre situation. The very people who could help companies secure their systems were being treated as criminals. It was like arresting doctors for diagnosing diseases.
KY Anonymous?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was said that he could face a sentence substantially longer than the rapists themselves.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But everything was about to change thanks to one company's revolutionary approach. In 1995, while Kevin Metnick was sitting in prison, a young company called Netscape was about to make a decision that would change the cybersecurity forever.
3 out of 4 people on the web still use Netscape Navigator.
Netscape Navigator was the dominant web browser, controlling 80% of the market share. But as the internet grew, so did security concerns about their browser. Now, traditional companies would have 2 options. 1. Hire expensive security consultants. 2. Build a massive internal security team. But Netscape's leadership, CEO Jim Barksdale and CTO Mark Andreessen had a different idea. What if instead of treating hackers as enemies, they treated as allies? On October 10th, 1995, Netscape announced something unprecedented. The Netscape Security Bug Bounty Program. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first ever bug bounty program. Here is how it worked. Find a security vulnerability in Netscape Navigator, report it responsibly to Netscape, get paid cash rewards ranging from $500 to $10,000, and cherry on top, get your name credited on the software. This was revolutionary because a major corporation was saying, we value your skills, we want your help, and we will pay you for that. But the business logic behind this decision was brilliant. Let me break down the economics. Traditional security approach. Hire 10 full-time security experts, costs around $1.5 million per year, limited to business hours testing, same people, same perspectives, miss 60 to 90% of the vulnerabilities. While we look at the bug bounty approach, access to thousands of global security researchers, 24/7 testing across all the time zones, diverse skills and perspectives, pay only for results, total annual cost $20,000 to $30,000. The results were immediate and dramatic. In the first year alone, Netscape received over 300 vulnerability reports. The browser became significantly more secure than the other browsers, and the program paid for itself within months. But more importantly, this program created something unprecedented: legitimate employment for hackers. Suddenly, people like Peter Mudgay-Zecto weren't criminals anymore. They were cybersecurity consultants earning 6-figure incomes, helping companies stay secure. Other companies started paying attention. Mozilla launched their first bug bounty program in 2004. Google followed in 2010. Facebook launched theirs in 2011. But the real transformation came with the rise of bug bounty platforms. In the year 2012, 2 companies would revolutionize bug bounty space: HackerOne and Bugcrowd. This platform solved a critical problem. How do you scale bug bounty programs across thousands of companies and across millions of hackers? Think of these platforms as the Uber for cybersecurity. Just like Uber connected drivers with passengers, these platform connected hackers with companies needed security testing. The business model was genius. Companies post their programs on the platform, hackers browse available programs and start testing, Platform handle payments, legal frameworks, takes percentage of pay cuts. That was as simple as that. This created what economists call network effect. The more hackers joined, the more valuable it became for companies. The more companies joined, the more attractive it became for hackers. Let me show you some mind-blowing statistics. In 2013, the bug bounty payouts across all programs was about $1 million. By 2018, it reached $40 million. And in 2024, the total bug bounty market was worth $500 million annually. But here is what even more interesting. The top hackers were earning more than traditional cybersecurity professionals. Individual hackers like Santiago Lopez earned over $2 million in a single year.
Santi's the first hacker to make $1 million on the world's biggest bug bounty platform, HackerOne.
Did you find your bank account was sort of filling up and you needed to spend it?
Yes. Yeah. This created a complete mind shift. Suddenly, teenagers in countries like India, Argentina, Egypt could earn more than a senior software engineers by finding bugs in their spare time. This platform has democratized cybersecurity. Anyone with the skill could participate regardless of their location, background and formal education. Now let's talk about where we are in today in 2025. And trust me, the transformation is even more dramatic than you might expect. As cyber threats grow more advanced and persistent, organizations across the globe are investing heavily in proactive security measures, and bug bounty programs have become the cornerstone of this strategy. The scope has expanded beyond traditional web applications. Future trends include increased scope of bug bounty programs towards newer technologies like IoT, blockchain, and AI. Let me give you some fascinating developments in 2025. Web3 and cryptocurrencies bug bounties. The cryptocurrency and blockchain space has created some of the highest paying bug bounty programs ever. Companies like Immunify and Hack and Proof are running specialized Web3 bug bounty platforms with rewards reaching astronomical level. And a single critical smart contract vulnerability can earn a researcher up to $2 million. AI and machine learning security. As systems became more prevalent, companies are now offering bug bounty programs specifically for AI vulnerabilities. Things like prompt injection attacks, model poisoning, and adversarial inputs. This created an entirely new category of security research. IoT and connected devices program. With the increasing scope of bug bounty programs towards newer technologies such as IoT, blockchain, and AI, companies are launching programs for everything from smart cars to medical devices. Tesla's bug bounty program now covers their vehicle software, and they have paid out millions to security researchers who found vulnerabilities in their systems. Government and critical infrastructures. Even governments are getting involved. The US Department of Defense runs one of the largest bug bounty programs, and critical infrastructure companies are now required to have vulnerability disclosure programs in many countries. But perhaps the most significant change in 2025 is the professionalization of bug bounty hunting. These platforms have become essential components of modern cybersecurity, allowing companies to crowdsource security testing while offering skilled researchers and ethical hackers the chance to earn money and build reputation. What started as a side hustle for curious hackers has now become a legit full-time career path. The global bug bounty market is now worth approximately $2.1 billion annually. But here is what really interesting. The demographics have completely changed. In 2015, 90% of bug bounty hunters were male, mostly from North America and Europe. Today, 35% are women, and the majority are from countries like India, Brazil, Egypt, and Philippines. So, ladies and gentlemen, The bug bounty revolution is now being applied to other industries as well. The model that started with Netscape browser security is now transforming how we think about quality, innovation and collaboration across every single industry. From Kevin Pitnick prison cell to $2 billion bug bounty industry, this transformation shows us the power of changing perspectives. 30 years ago, if you told somebody that companies would pay millions of dollars, they do think that you are crazy. But today, it's one of the fastest growing sector in cybersecurity. The hackers who are labeled as criminals are now the guardians of our digital infrastructure. They protect our banks, our hospitals, our power grids and our personal data. Sometimes the key to solving your biggest problem is to learning to work with your biggest enemies. As we move towards an increasingly connected future with AI, IoT and quantum computing, we need these security researchers more than ever. The bug bounty revolution isn't just about cybersecurity story. It's a blueprint for turning adversaries to allies. That's an incredible journey from criminals to cybersecurity heroes. One of the most remarkable transformation of digital age. If this case study opened your eyes, make sure to subscribe the channel. We analyze the most fascinating technology stories and trust me, you don't want to miss this. If you have any suggestions for the case studies like this, please mention down in the comments. I'll read them out and make a case study on them. Thank you so much. This is Raju Repalle. Bye-bye.